Hello everyone, this is AutoCAD 1 2D Drafting, Boston Architectural College, and in this video I'd like to back up a little bit and cover a couple things that it appears I've passed over, just to fill you in on some things in order to help you complete the final project. And one of the things I noticed with some of the homework handed in is that some folks are having difficulty with drawing the proposed conditions, particularly the second floors and roofs on these elevations. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm looking at my drawing that I've been working on. I've got my existing elevations drawn up here with the modifications made for the proposed conditions. So for instance, on the tall portion over here on the left, and I have my second floor plan proposed, but there is some information missing on this second floor plan, and that is the location of the new wall that's going to be placed on top of the existing walls down here. So I'm going to take care of that first before I proceed with drawing the elevations. I'm going to zoom in to this if I can get a closer look at my second floor plan that I've drawn in here. I've drawn in the new conditions, but I just don't have the proposed walls showing on this. So before we start drawing that, let's take a look at the instructions for drawing the second floor plan on the one-story wing of our building. And if we take a look at one of the handouts that we had for that, notice that the wall on the new proposed second floor, based on these instructions down in here, put a little circle around that so we can zoom in on that a little bit, focus on that, and we see that they are set 4 inches in off of the outside face of the wall, and the new proposed wall is 8 inches thick. It's probably a framed wall, stud wall, so it's 8 inches thick with all its sheathing and such on it, and that is set in 4 inches from the outside face. So when we go back to our AutoCAD drawing, we're going to assume that our proposed wall that's going to be on the top of our tall portion is going to be the same thing. But since at this elevation, you would not see the actual wall drawn solid because it is in fact above the cut plane for the plan at the second floor. So we need to show something kind of in plan above. And we happen to have a layer already for that. It says called, in fact, a plan above. So I'm going to make that the active layer. And this will be a wall, 2 lines, so we can probably use the M line for this. But I'm going to use a little technique, which we've done a little bit in terms of using snap tracking to do it. And let's take a look at a couple of settings that we did look at in an earlier video, but just to see where we are with this. I'm going to go to my Applications menu, click on Options, and go to the Drafting tab, and the information or the setting about alignment point acquisition. I have that turned on to be Shift to Acquire. So that means when I want to get a temporary tracking point, I need to hit the Shift key to grab that. So I'm going to leave it as that because that can be very helpful. So I'm going to go just OK because it's all set for me. Now I want to start my M line, so type in ML, enter. And we see the settings for it. Right now the scale is 8, justification is 0. So I want to change the scale. I'm sorry, the scale is 1. I want to set the scale to 8. So I'm going to type in S for scale and type in 8 for the scale of the wall. And the justification, type in J. And it's going to be top for me as I go. I'm going to draw the line across the width of the end elevation into the top of the screen here. So I'm going to set that to justification as top. Okay, I'm going to zoom in to the upper left corner of my plan here, just so we can get an easier view as to what's going on. My M-line command has started. I'm going to hover over this upper left corner. I'm going to hit the Shift key to acquire it and start dragging over towards the right. And I'm going to type in on my command line TT, which means temporary tracking, and hit enter. And it asks for the position of the temporary track point. I'm going to put in 4, hit enter. And now you see I've got another track point 4 inches off to the right, and now I can come down and type in 4, enter. And then my multi-line command starts, and I'm starting the line 4 inches down and 4 inches over from the outside part of the wall. So now I can just drag the line, and as I do, pan over to the other corner. And it's a similar process here to have the line end 4 inches in and down from the corner. So again, hover over that upper left corner, hit the shift key to acquire it, start pulling off to the left in this case, type in TT for temporary track, hit and enter, ask for the location of the temporary track. It's 4 inches over to the left, type in 4, hit enter, and now there's our point 4 inches over. I just need to come down and intersect the drag line from the M line, which is already 4 inches down. So click there, and now start heading down. So again, pan and drag our M line down across our entire plan, get down to the bottom here, and the process again. Hover over the outer corner, hit the shift key to acquire, start dragging up in this case, type in TT, enter, type in 4 for the distance, and there is our line, temporary track point, giving us a guideline to intersect. Click there, all the way across the lower or front elevation to the other corner, hover over the lower left corner, shift to acquire, start dragging towards the left, TT, enter, distance 4, enter, come up till we hit the horizontal drag line of the M line, click, and now we've got our M line going up, and so all we need to do at this point is type in C for close, enter, and we can zoom out and see there is our wall above, drawn over our existing walls, and that will be the location of our addition, which will show up on the proposed elevations, which we'll draw in just 1 second here. All right, so let's zoom out a little bit, and you can see that I have my proposed, my elevation, in this case the existing elevation, lined up over my floor plan so that I can use that to extract points off of the plan up to the elevation. Before we proceed, though, let's take a look at what the handouts have to say about the elevation. So if we go over here, let's look at the existing conditions, and we see that we have a line up here, which is the, whoops, arrow's going in the wrong direction. A line here that is marking the roof line, and also there's another one down here that is 1 foot down from the very top of the wall, or 1 foot down from the parapet. So that's in our existing conditions. But when we go and take a look at our proposed conditions, that line is no longer showing the roof, but is showing the top of wall. So we have this, again, whoops, going the wrong way, line here and line here. So, I'm sorry, down here, showing at the top of the wall. So we just need to take our lines that show the roof line and move those up, and then that'll give us a base to offset to get these other dimensions, these other lines up here, which are 2 feet and 5 feet. And then over here we have 7'6", and down here we have 2 feet up and off to mark the top of the wall for the new proposed addition. So let's go back to the AutoCAD drawing. And so the first thing we need to do, let's just move this line up from here up to the very top of the wall, and the same over here. Move, select the object, snap at the intersection, snap at the very top. Okay, and now we have, we need to quickly take a look at that information again. So let's focus on the tall portion, and we have a line that is 2 feet off in the back and 5 feet off on the other side. So 2 feet up on the right, 5 feet up on the left. So back in AutoCAD, let's do in, what I've got going here, type in an O for offset, type in 2, enter, put there. Whoops, I did not put the foot mark in, so that does not work. I got to type in the foot mark. So offset distance 2 feet. Grab that line, offset it up, enter. Enter again, offset distance is 5 feet. Grab this line again and offset it up. Now, we don't need these lines continuing all the way across our elevations because they only reference something that happens on one side or the other. So I'm going to shorten that line up, and I'm going to get rid of the offset, click here, and drag that line over just to shorten that line up. Okay, so while we're doing the offsetting, let's take a look at what we have to do down on our one-story portion. So I'm taking a look over here, and 2 feet and 7'6". So 2 feet on the left side, 7'6" on the right. O for offset, distance is 2 feet. Select this line, go up 2 feet, enter, enter again. Distance is 7 foot, 7'6". Enter, grab this line and offset that up. And again, let's shorten these lines up because we don't need them going all the way across our elevation. And this top one, grab it over here and drag it over towards the right. And hit enter. Okay, so we have our guidelines set, our top of wall elevation set on both sides. So next we just need to draw those walls. So of course it's very simple here. We would just do an offset and offset that wall, that line in 4 inches. Or we have gone through the process of drawing the proposed wall, and we could use that as a guide to locate the wall. So the first thing I want to do is set the correct layer. Go up here to my layers, and it's going to be a LF wall that I need. So let's make that active. Let's start the line command, and let's go down here and acquire a point. And again, I have to use the shift key to do that. So shift, drag that up until it hits. Oops, I zoomed, so that loses my tracking. All right, let's try that again. Hover over the corner point, shift to acquire, drag up till I hit the intersection point, and then click, and then come up until I hit my guideline there. And then the same on the other side. Shift to acquire, come up until I hit the intersection point, click, and then up until I hit the top of wall line. Okay, so there I have my 2 lines representing the outside face of the wall, and you'll see that they are in fact inset a bit, which hopefully should be 4 inches in. And now we just need to draw the roof. So let's take a look back at that handout, and the information that we're given on the roof is we see these little bits of information here. Oops, so that is the pitch of the roof, the rise and the run. So 8 and 12 over here, and also 8 and 12 over here, and 8 and 12 over here. And then we actually have the thickness of the roof with the rake boards and the actual construction of the roof, and that's going to be a foot thick. And then we have the overhang over here, and that's typically going to be 1'4". So because we have no information over on these sides, we're going to assume they are the same. Okay, so 12 and 8 pitch, 1 foot for the thickness of the roof, and then a 1'4" overhang on each side. So back to our drawing, and let's start the line command. And we'll bring our line, it will snap to the end of our vertical wall line, click, and start dragging. And with the pitch of the roof is 8 and 12, this is a very good situation where we can use what's called the AutoCAD relative coordinate entry, which we did talk about way back in probably the first or second week. And that's done by typing in the @ sign on the command line, and then the change in X, which will be 12 feet, comma, and then the change in Y, which will be 8 feet, and then hit enter. And there's our line, and it's at the right rise and run of 12 feet horizontally and 8 feet vertically. And then we do the same thing over here at the other start point of the other low wall. So start the line command again, enter. snap to the end, start dragging, put in the @ symbol on the command line, and this time we're going in the negative direction, so it's negative 12 feet, comma, but it's still a positive 8, so it's just 8 feet in the y direction. So change in x, change in y, negative 12 feet for the x, 8 feet for the y. Hit enter, and then we have our line drawn. So all we need to do now is to clean up this intersection. We can do a fillet, type in F, radius is 0, that's perfect. Click on that, click on that. The lines are cleaned up. Now we just need to do some offsetting to get the thickness of the roof and the overhang. Start the offset command. The roof thickness is 1 foot or 12 inches, so we can do 12 inches there and 12 inches there. Hit enter. The overhang is 1 foot 4, so start the offset command again. O, enter. Distance is 1 foot 4 or 16 inches. Click there, offset there, click there, offset there. Now let's just clean up some of these conditions. So let's do a fillet again up at the top here. And then let's zoom in over here and we can fillet this to this. And then fillet this to this. And there's our overhang on that side. And then come over here, fillet again, F, enter, whoops, F, enter. Fillet this to our vertical line, and then enter, and then fillet our slope to the outside line. Okay, so there is the pitch of the roof with the right dimensions on our proposed tall section with the addition at the top. So now the process is similar down over here on the lower portion. Again, we just need to draw the walls. And let's take the simple approach at this time. And we'll just offset these lines in 4 inches because we know that's what they are. So O for offset, distance is 4, hit enter. Offset this over 4 and this one over 4. And then we just need to extend, so EX. Click that there and that there. And then enter, and then click the lines we want to extend, that line there and that line there. And then we just need to trim away the portion we don't want. So TR, enter. And it's asking me that there are 2 lines, one on top of the other. It doesn't really matter which one I pick. I can pick the top of wall line, which is the magenta one, or the solid line, which is the floor line. So I'm going to pick that one, the floor line. Whoops. So I got to start that again. I didn't do that right. Now enter. I'll get rid of that and get rid of that. Okay, so now we just need to do the same process that we did before, which was to draw the line, the sloping line for the roof. So L, enter, start at this point, at change in X, which is 12 feet, comma, change in Y, which is 8 feet, enter, enter again. Line again starts, click, start dragging, at symbol, negative 12 feet, comma, 8 feet, enter, and enter again. So there again is the sloping portions of our roof, and we can continue just doing the offset to do that. Although there is another way we could have done this too. So I'm going to erase those lines. And because we actually have lines drawn at the right slope, we could just copy these lines over here. So I'm going to type in CP, and drag a crossing line there, drag a surrounding window there, click on that as my base point, copy that over here, then hit enter and do the same on the other side. Cross those to select, do a drag around the window there to select the vertical line, snap on that point, come over here, snap on that point, enter. Then all we need to do is fillet these 2 roof slopes together. So F, enter, this line to this line, F, enter, this line to this line, and then clean up the lines that we don't need because we won't see this line come down through because this wall is going to be in front. So TR for trim, select the cutting edge, which is this line, enter, and then the thing we want to get rid of, which is this, enter. And there we have the profiles of the roof at the ends with the correct slope and the correct dimensions on the construction of the roof and the overhangs. Now that we have that gable end profile, we can use that to extrapolate and locate the roof lines on our side elevation by pulling points off of these, because these are now located, we now have the correct heights where all of these different points are. So one of the things that we do need to have is what is the overhang of the roof on these gable ends. And if we take a look at the handouts, it appears that dimension is missing there. However, if I do take a look at one of my other AutoCAD drawings, I fill that information in and I'll update the handouts. So from the side elevation, the amount of roof overhang at the gable ends is going to be 8 inches as a typical dimension. So let's go back to our drawing here, and we have the same situation as far as the walls go, where these are going to be 4 inches in from the outside face of the wall. So let's do some offsetting. Do O, enter, and the distance is 4, enter. And I'm going to offset this line in here, and this line in here, and then this line in here, enter. And then what we will do is bring over a line from our elevations, from our end elevation, our front elevation here. We can extrapolate these lines over. So I'm going to start the line command, enter. I'm going to hover over this bottom outside edge of my roof, hit the shift key to get a track point, and then come over here, just about here, click, and then come over here and click like that. And then start the line command again, grab this, shift to acquire, over here, click, click, enter, and then one more at the peak of the roof, hit shift to enter, come over here, click, and click, and then enter that. So now all we need to do is extend our wall lines up. So EX, enter, line's going to extend to here, trim away the bottom portions. And then we need to offset these lines out the 8 inches to show the overhang of the roof. So O, enter. Distance is 8, enter. Offset that, offset that. And then let's fillet these to the end of the roof here, the eave. So F fillet, here and here, and then here and here. And then the same on this end, and the same here. And then we just need to draw the lines going up to meet the peak of the roof. And one of the things that you may notice on the handout is that these lines, as they slope away from us, have become quite a bit lighter than the actual eave line that's facing us on this elevation. So that's done by placing those lines on a different layer. And let's see what we have here. That we have, as far as our elevation layers go, we have something called a elev beyond, which means this is in elevation, but it's farther back from the plane that that's the main elevation, or beyond the plane of what we were looking at. So I'm going to set that as the active layer. And I'm going to change actually this line to that layer, so a elev beyond. Oops. A elev beyond. I'm going to escape and then draw my lines there and there. And then just fill it back to clean it up. And there we have it. So the next portion of our drawing, which is the one-story portion, which is coming out here, is a similar process. We can change our line back to our ALF wall. Start the line command, hover over this portion here. Start the line command, hover over this portion here, hit shift to acquire, drag until actually we get here. Click and then come over. And the same on the top side, shift to acquire, drag to come over and then hit this line and click and then drag out. And then come in, extend this line up, trim the bottom portion away, offset this line the 8 inches, fillet it, and now we may actually want to change our layer to the ALF beyond, because we can draw that line over. So there it is, set that active, ALF beyond. Get out of whatever command I'm on. Start the line command, hover over this peak, just to acquire, bring that until I get to here. Keep snapping to, so what I may want to do is turn off the midpoint anyway. Let's try that again. Zoom out a little bit. Oops, not that far. Type in L, enter, hover over this, shift to acquire. There we go. And then come over, and it's over about there. And that line, click there, come up, and then just fillet that to clean up the intersection. And there we have the two roof profiles at the side elevation at the correct height. And now we can start filling in other information here, such as the window locations and skylight. So that's it for this video. Hope this helps with some information and some techniques that you can use to continue working.